Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Pit of Despair. I'm cutting right to the chase this time. We're playing the remixed game modes in Namco Museum Remix. If you didn't see my video of me playing the arcade games, there's a link provided in the description. Let's check that one out.
First off is the Gator Panic remix. So it's whack-a-mole, but instead of hitting some moles with mallets, you move the control stick around and shake the Wii remote. Riveting gameplay, guys. Great stuff. You made it fun for the whole family. You dumbed down a whole style, a whole genre of gaming to just fucking swinging a stick. You got it. That's your work for the day. Go home, Namco employee. Go take a nap. Take a fucking bath or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna get you!
You know, when I think alligator voice, I usually think of something intimidating. Or at least not like a computer program voice. Who even is saying that? It's not really implied that it's an alligator. Is there just like a disembodied voice who's also gonna get me? What's with this existentialism, Namco? Out of all the arcade games to remake in 3D, why did Namco choose Gator Panic? It's by far the hardest arcade player experience for them to recreate. Like, it controls fine, and it's definitely more fun if you're playing with other people. The 4-player mode's probably funny and hectic, but it's just so obviously inferior to its arcade equivalent.
Now I'm angry!
And I'm scared.
I don't even really understand what I'm supposed to be doing in this. After the monster voice says that they're angry, some of the alligators don't even go down in one hit, but it's seemingly random. I truly don't understand. I tried everything I could, but just some wouldn't die. One thing to remember though is that this game came out in the summer of 2007. The Wii was brand new, and basically anything with motion controls at all was amazing to anyone. So I'm willing to give this game mode a pass because they have so many other game modes. It's not like Gator Panic Remix was the only thing. The motion controls they put in QDQ though, I'm not forgiving Namco for that one.
There's just something about that voice that makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like a sweaty hand. And if you ask me, I don't think anything in video games should remind me of a sweaty hand unless it's literally a sweaty hand. I do really like the little turtle guy though. He's adorable.
This one seemed obscure to me because I had never really heard about it outside of Namco Museum Remix, but it's supposedly a really popular machine in Japan, so it makes sense that it made the cut. It's apparently getting an updated machine soon called Gator Panic R. Like the letter, not like the pirate. Although, a pirate-themed Gator Panic is something I could get behind. Next up, we have the Rally X Remix. This game is super duper mid-tier. It's fine, it's playable, and it doesn't really stand out. The turning is really whack in this. I'm happy they made Pac-Man the main driver because the Rally X protagonist is an atrocity. I think the obstacles and little puffs of gas you can shoot at are sorta cool, like if you're playing 4-player it would get really hectic. But the single-player mode consists of collecting flags.
Give me something cool next time.
This is less a criticism of the Rally X remix and more so the original Rally X, but this game is just Pac-Man again. They functionally added some mechanics to Pac-Man and put a new coat of paint on it. You're despicable, Namco, just like the Minion. I beat World 1, but vow not to continue. Now we have Pac-Modos, which is a reimagining of the arcade Modos, wherein you knock balls off of things. They put Pac-Man in because why not? The character in Modos was already a ball. I guess Namco's got a few different ball-shaped characters, might as well put the most popular one in. I remember thinking this game was hard as a kid. I must have just been stupid because it's really easy. The enemies get knocked back way further than they do in the original. There are 3 power-ups: power, jump, and charge. They show up in levels as these little tokens. There's a screen at the beginning of each level that lets you use up these tokens up to a total of 5. Power evidently just gives you more power. It makes you do more damage. Jump gives you a jump. It's super useful, although you can only jump on a floor tile once before it breaks. What's even more useful is that once you start using 2 or more tokens, you hover in the air for how many tokens you put in instead of jumping. Charge gives you knockback resistance, but also improves your charge attack. You can do a charge attack by pressing and holding B. I didn't actually get that explained anywhere, I figured that out halfway through. Namco Museum Remix, do a better job at telling your players what the fucking controls are. I find that these power-ups work best when you use all 3 at once. The easy levels can be taken care of without any power-ups, and there are a lot of easy levels. Most of the levels took me less than a minute. Also, the background in World 1 is just Windy Valley from Sonic Adventure. This one is fun and sort of replayable. The gameplay is nothing new, but it's a fully functional game. Next up is Galaga Remix. This one also has Pac-Man and not the ship from Galaga. They couldn't get enough of that guy, I guess. So it's a basic rail shooter. If you couldn't tell already, Namco Museum Remix is a game that's more tailored towards kids than the hardcore audience, so I don't mind the pack roller coaster instead of being able to move. This game's decent. I mean, it's an arcade shooter, so there's only so much fun that can be had with it. I do think that they did a good job of keeping it feel like Galaga. The enemy formations and moves are reminiscent enough of the original that it doesn't just feel like a completely different game. It's also got a great Pac-Moon. See what I did there? Pac-Moon? It's like Pac-Man, but... and his name's Pac-Man, but the moon is there. And I did a little bit of wordplay and put them together. The World 1 music is cute. It falls under this category of video game music that just makes me feel kinda nice. I guess I'd call it warm fuzzy music. The star clusters in World 1 kinda look like giant star bits from Super Mario Galaxy, which is weird because Namco Museum Remix was released exactly 1 week before Super Mario Galaxy. So, you know, those were in development cycles at the exact same time for the exact same console. There's gotta be something going on there. Or maybe it is just mere coincidence. Well, whatever, on to World 2. Huh. Yeah, that's Battle Rock Galaxy. From Super Mario Galaxy. I have no idea if this is even remotely true, so please don't quote me on it, but I like to imagine one of the lead designers of Galaga Remix was at Nintendo one day and they showed him some Mario Galaxy footage and he loved it so much he decided to steal assets from it and put it in his game. Like, they were both working on Galaxy-related games for the Wii in 2007. It's totally feasible. And Namco Museum Remix did only come out 8 days before Mario Galaxy, so it's entirely, completely possible. Or maybe it's legitimately a coincidence. I will repeat, I have no evidence, I'm just a guy who goes by the name Gorilla online. It's funny. I played the first few levels a ton as a kid, and I remember some of the things really vividly. Like how the second level of World 2 has these honeycomb things. This is a level I'd eventually get stuck on, so it sticks out in my memory a lot. I can also remember the sense of accomplishment I got for getting to World 2. Listen, I was a kid, these kind of things felt big to me. I played through all of World 1 and World 2, beating the level I had been stuck on when I was a kid. By the time I got to World 3, I was a bit burnt out on this game. So like, in World 3 the aliens bring you to their planet, and it's got all this funky wildlife, and also there are a lot of enemies. At this point, the game got hard enough that I didn't care enough to want to try and beat it. Like, it's not legit challenging, I was just getting bored. Galaga Remix was sort of fun. It's definitely designed for younger kids to play, and I only have fond memories of it, so I call this one a success. I spent a few minutes trying to get on this damn wooden Pac-Man to see if anything happened if you collect all the dots in the hub. Nothing happens, which I think is pretty lame. Like, what's even the point of putting them in the hub world then? I don't know, I just think it would have been neat if collecting all of them, like, unlocked the original Pac-Man in the arcade room or something.
Well, we've made it to the end. The only thing we have left is Pack and Roll Remix, which really seems like the head honcho of the game. They kind of advertise it as Namco Museum Remix has all these mini-games, and then also you have Pac-Man Story Mode. Because of that, I've gone my entire life assuming that Pack and Roll was an entirely new game developed for Namco Museum Remix. But with minimal research I found out, it's a port of a DS game, with cut content. In Pack and Roll on the DS, you move Pac-Man around by flicking him with the DS stylus. When porting that to a console that, you know, has a functioning control stick, you'd imagine that they figured out a way to make it better. The folks at Namco decided to be idiots and just give Pac-Man an insane amount of momentum, like way more momentum than you ever get in the DS version of the game, just at the touch of the control stick. No guys, it's great. No, don't. It's good. It's a good game. Don't worry, you managed to make a game with stylus controls worse when porting it to a console with a control stick. It's fine! It's fine. No, it's...
Okay, so the first world is called Castle Pack, and the music is okay. I would not have actually known that it was just DS music that wasn't compressed. Side note, the hub theme in Namco Museum Remix isn't even original, it's the menu theme from Pac-Man DS. I thought making a video on a childhood favorite game would be all fun, but all I've done is learn upsetting things about Namco and Pac-Man. The gameplay consists of rolling around and collecting dots. There are these gates called Golvis gates that require a certain amount of dots, so I guess it's a collect-a-thon? A story for this game does exist. It's about, like, this ghost alien punk rocker named Golvis. Is it a person? Are the gates him? Or is it a different thing? Well, anyway, this guy Golvis, he comes to Earth and he plays sweet jams for all the ghosts in Pac-Man world, and now they're angry at Pac-Man, I guess. But it's only in the DS version. Why wouldn't they put it in the Wii version? This is a side note, but the voice acting for the cutscenes in Pac-N-Roll DS are absolutely atrocious. There's like 2 voice lines, and they just repeat them over and over every single time they have say a line of text. Pac-N-Roll has power pellets like the original Pac-Man. With the rolling around, no arms and legs, pellet collecting, and ghost eating, this really feels like the only true sequel to the original games in 3D. The Pac-Man World games are great, but they're a little bit more like the other platformers of the time. This feels more like a direct translation of the original gameplay to me. The power-ups from Pac-Motos make a return, but they do slightly different things this time. It should also be mentioned that you can't jump in this game, you can only launch yourself off of surfaces while rolling. The wing hat makes you light and float in the air a little bit longer. The night armor makes you sink in water and also makes you immune to arrows in like, literally 1 level. I think that it's actually super cool in a game all about using rolling physics that the power-ups basically just change Pac-Man's weight. The only issue though is that the movement is so jerky and sporadic that wearing the night armor is the only efficient way to play the game without flying around at the touch of a control stick. The game design's pretty good, to be honest. The levels have been inventive so far. I'm gonna regret saying that, aren't I? Well, World 1 was pretty underwhelming. There wasn't even a boss, it's like they wanted me to forget it. On to Gyro Jungle. This world is off to a good start. They introduced like 1 mechanic per level last world, and they're using them all together now. Pac-N-Roll's gameplay is pretty simple. Each level consists of a winding path leading to a roadblock that represents whatever new game mechanic the level throws at you. It sounds promising, but here's my thing with 3D platformers, and really any game. The game mechanics are always fun at their easiest. What separates an okay developer from a great one is their ability to create fair difficulty. I find that by the 3rd area, world type of deal in a game, you can tell whether or not the developers can create difficulty competently. If not, the mechanics in each level just get really stupid. Gyro Jungle's bounce pads are the first offensive bullshittery. They stop your momentum completely. They're just annoying, there's nothing beyond it. I was stuck on this one part where you have to bounce across 4 platforms, but if you fall, you get sent back to the beginning of it all. This kind of stuff is lame. And don't even get me started about the part where they give you the wing power-up. The first boss is in Gyro Jungle and it's really easy. You run in a circle until you get 3 power pellets, and then you repeat that twice. Awesome interactive gameplay, Namco. World 3 is Sweetland. This is a general question. Why is Sweetland like a trend in video games? I don't really get it. There's a ridiculous amount of candy-themed levels for what it is. Is the treat aesthetic too tempting for game developers? The music here sounds like it belongs in Pokemon Black and White, which makes a sense because it's a DS song. Sweetland is really where the game drops off. I remember I got to Sweetland 1 and gave the fuck up when I was 9 years old. The level design just starts being really shitty and annoying. The first level consists of you having to ride these bouncy trains that lead to 4 different areas with ghosts. It sounds like it's cool and it's like they're all challenge rooms, but instead of being challenging, it's just dumb. The ramp physics in this game are stupid, so the more the game relies on you using ramps to get stuff, the less enjoyable it is. The bouncy trains also just fucking suck. The second level is about water and also these cars that shoot missiles. Who would have guessed that level 2 is not fun? Level 3 is where the game designers start to think putting in a bunch of parts with floating platforms with no rails in was a good idea. They couldn't figure out a way to advance the level design in their weird ball rolling game, so I guess their alternative was to put in platforms that directly go against the core gameplay. It was at this point in my playthrough that I realized you can press Z to stop all of your momentum, which basically makes every part I died earlier avoidable. Sure would have been useful if you told me I could do that. Like, you literally could have just had a controls list. It's not hard. Alright, boss time again. The last one was super easy, so I'm not expecting much. No, never mind, it's incredibly unfair, it's so hard. So the first thing that pisses me off about this boss is that the boss itself isn't even that hard. I mostly died because they made you fight the boss on a platform that objectively isn't optimal for the game engine. It's just too small, you gain way too much momentum. A lot of the time I would just bounce off the middle and fall off the edge. To make things worse, he has this attack where he creates a wind turbine with his guitar. Depending on what part of the level you're on, he can fully trap you. He also has this attack where he spins around and has a shit ton of knockback. It literally knocks you off no matter what, even if you're in the middle part, even if you're holding Z. At least he only does this attack when you run at him. The issue is that there are times when you need to run past him or your power pellet is gonna run out. I have nothing else to say. It's a grossly designed fight for what game it is, and the only difficulty is in how janky everything is. It took me a lot of tries to beat. Like, I played for 10 minutes beyond what was in the death montage, and I don't ever want to go back to it. That boss was so bullshit that I considered stopping after this point, but for the sake of gaming, I chose to brave World 4. The first level is actually awesome. Basically, there are a bunch of small rooms that have enemies and dots with the exit blocked by the Golvus gates, so you need to collect all the dots to progress. This is actually a really neat use of this mechanic, since before this level there was no incentive to collect all the dots, just only as many as you needed for the gate. You're scaling this hill for the whole level, and once you get to the top, you press a switch that breaks all the walls and you get to roll down to the goal at the beginning. That's all she wrote for this one. It's just a legitimately well-designed level. It reminds me of Super Mario Galaxy level design, which is funny because, you know, the game came out a week before Mario Galaxy. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Namco Museum Remix came out 1 week before Mario Galaxy. This level was refreshing after the hell named Sweetland. I'd say it's definitely the best level in the whole game. On to level 2. Wait a minute. That's the dark matter from Super Mario Galaxy. What are the odds? Like, I think it's truly coincidental, but this game has a lot of near identical assets to Super Mario Galaxy. The last level felt like it was straight out of Mario Galaxy 2. Maybe I've had it wrong this whole time and Nintendo hasn't stopped taking ideas from Namco since the 80s. Oh god, here comes the conspiracy stomach again. Stolen assets aside, the first level of this world was certainly put in to give the player a false sense of security because man, this level fucking sucks. You know, if I could choose one thing to put in pack and roll, it would be precision platforming. See guys, the trick here is that I'm a funny guy YouTuber, and that was a joke. The joke is that the worst thing to put in pack and roll is precision platforming. This level is bad, but like, it isn't evil. It's not so bad if you go slowly. Time for level 3. Oh no! This level is incredibly stinky. It's like a dog mixed with a poo. There are these dumb swings you have to traverse across. Swings don't work with the type of game pack and roll is. I honestly have no idea if the game developers kept legitimately forgetting how to design levels for their game, or if they're just awful people who want to see the world burn. And we haven't even gotten to the part where the depth is really unclear yet. This is about as far as I got in my pack and roll journey. I haven't died over and over again in a video game quite like this in a long time. The issue with this level is that it's so long and each part of it has a bullshit mechanic, and you have to start over if you get a game over. So even if you get acquainted with the level, you can't guarantee the fact that the stupid swing won't send you flying. So if you almost get to the end in one run, you may get 5 game overs in a row just trying to get back to the point where you died last. It's infuriating and completely devoid of fun.
I just wanted to play Namco Museum Remix to reminisce on the arcade games of yesteryear. But all it's done is revealed to me that Pac-Man's a chump and a bozo. An asshole. So that was Namco Museum Remix. It's fine, you know? The arcade games are all fun, but in my opinion, I think the remix modes could have used a little bit more work. That being said, we see these retro anthology re-releases all the time in today's gaming climate, but they all just have like these lame menu screens and nothing else in them. Namco proves that while their remix game modes maybe aren't the best, that if you put effort into the presentation of your game, it'll leave a longer lasting impression on the player. In this game, Namco proves that, at least a little bit, they care about their IPs still. Thank you guys for watching my first videos. I guess technically the first part of this was my real first one of this series, but nevertheless, it means a lot. I've been working for a few months now trying to get everything together. Obviously, because of the pandemic right now, it's been a little bit hard ordering stuff in. I've needed computers and microphones to do this kind of stuff, so I'm really excited now that I actually am able to be working on video work. That being said, I don't have a schedule really yet. I don't know if I'm going to be holding myself to a schedule, but I have a bunch of ideas and I'm eager to work, so click that subscribe button. It's up there somewhere. And then you'll get ring the notification bell also, don't forget that part. And then you'll get a notification when one of my videos comes out. I got a lot in store, so I'm excited. And I hope you are too. Have a lovely jungle night.